Hello, everyone. It's me, Andrew. I'm here at Star Cottage Studio. And if you saw yesterday's presentation, we started making or embellishing some wooden components with some mixed media techniques. And today we're going to finish it up. We went kind of long yesterday. But, it was fun to hang out. Hopefully, you all had a good Halloween or whatever you celebrate, and you're having a great start to your week. Today's been pretty mellow. Knock on wood. I have a meeting at 6:30 my time, so I have to be kind of careful about the time. So if anybody out there is watching and they want to say, "Hey, it's 6:25," if we go up to that point, I would appreciate that. And the reason why is we were lucky enough to be fast tracked into a local show here in Pennsylvania at the Handmade Arcade, and it's a marketing meeting tonight at 6:30. So I have to watch that. um, Anyways, so we're having a pretty mellow day. I'm playing catch up with a lot of stuff and finishing up some loose ends and getting some stuff ready and working on things. We're getting ready also for New York Jewelry Week, which is coming up soon. That's in just a couple of weeks. We're going to be leaving, I think on the 16th, we're going to be leaving, and we're going to be there for a couple of days. So we're trying to line up the house sitter to watch the cats and different things like that. Um, we're super excited to be going. It's my first time to be going to New York Jewelry Week. We used to live in New York, so it'll be nice to go back and see how things have changed. The last time went back, I was teaching um, at a class there, a couple classes there, and yeah, it was very different from even from the short time from when we had lived there at that point. But it's been a while since we've been back, and it'll be good to go back and see things and, um, visit some museums and soak up the culture. Not that there isn't culture everywhere, culture is everywhere. But it'll be fun. I see a couple people are watching. If you're watching, say hello and maybe where you're watching from. It's a gray day here in Pennsylvania. A lot of the color is gone. It's mostly brown. There's a couple trees that still are kind of I guess they're late bloomers. What's the opposite? Late droppers. Um, but there's a couple of trees every now and then, and they're like majestic because they're like in full fall foliage colors, and everything else is pretty much dropped already. So, and it's pretty gray and kind of misty out. I feel like I'm in a character in a I don't know, maybe a horror movie. I was gonna say like a English novel, but I was like, I don't know. I'm not like clutching the moor or whatever and shouting somebody's name into the wind and getting the tuberculosis. Hopefully not, at least. All right. Facebook user says, "Hi, Andrew. How's it going today?" It's going well. Um, Fun NYC and jewelry fun. Yeah, we're excited. I have a list, a kind of tentative list of places that I would like to go if we get time. But I feel like most of our time will be doing the programming and helping out at the booth. I'm going to be showing with the Alleghenies Metal Collective. Um, there's a show called Environs, and all of the jewelry is kind of based on circles. So I think that's pretty cool. Um, so we'll see how that I haven't decided what I'm going to show yet. So that's going to happen sometime tonight when I figure that out. Marianne says, hi. Hey, Marianne. Robin's watching. Hey, Robin. Suzanne is watching. Hello, Andrew, and hashtag AGBeadFam. Howdy. How's it going? Amanda's watching. Hey, Amanda. Marianne says, it's cold and we may get snow tonight. Oh, no. Robin says 79 in Tempe today, 58 for Thursday. Oh boy, that's chilly even for here. Amanda says it's unseasonably warm here. Where are you watching, Amanda? I can't remember. It's not. You never know here in southwestern Pennsylvania what the weather is going to be like this time of year. There have been times of year when it's been like warm and sunny, and like I've been doing yard work and planting bulbs and doing all kinds of stuff well into November. And then there have been years when it started snowing on Halloween, and like the scarecrows would get covered in snow and all kinds of stuff like that. Um, and this year it's kind of like in between. It's a little bit chilly, but I wore my heavy coat today and I probably could have done without it. So there's that. Bunny says it's fun to catch the latest trends in NYC. Yeah, I agree. I always like I used to really love to people watch. Nowadays I don't do it as much as I used to, but when I was young, I used to go to like a cafe and would get like a cup of coffee and would sit with my sketchbook and people watch. Um, or go to the park, Union Square Park or Central Park, and people watch for hours and hours and hours. Oh, to be carefree and youthful again. Um, I really don't get a chance to do that as much, unless you count like Mrs. Kravitz style peeping from the window. Um, then I don't really get to do that much anymore. But we all change, so and it's not to say that I don't enjoy that like I used to. It's just different. Um, Now I people watch on my phone. I'm like, hello, internet friends. Amanda says I'm west of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Oh, okay. I thought you were in Canada, but I can't remember. Bonnie says balmy 70 plus in Minnesota. Nice. Robin says, NY is on my bucket list. Yeah, when I lived there, I thought I took advantage of it and I squeezed a lot in, especially when I had just moved there. I mean, I don't sleep a lot now, but I hardly slept then, and I would be running 24/7, going to openings and museums and meeting up for people and trying new things, and it was. I think in some ways it was good. In other ways, it was really hard because when you're young and striking out on your own. New York is a very expensive place to live, which I'm starting to remember because we're starting to book things, and I'm like, oh, that's expensive. Like parking, like I never had a car in New York, and I realized just how expensive parking is just recently. So I don't know. I was like, William, maybe we'll take a train or a bus or something because, um, like $200 for parking for a couple of days. I was like, I could buy stuff with that. What am I doing? So it can sit there. But the nice thing about that is that if you do have a car, then you can like go. I was like, you can go around, but you can get around anyway. So I don't know. We're still figuring out the logistics. We were going to be traveling with one of our friends, but they've made other their original plans actually worked out, so they're going to be going with them, and so it kind of frees up what we can do, because I can suffer. I shouldn't say I can suffer, but it's different when you're planning a trip for other people, and it's another when you're planning it for yourself. Like sitting on a train for 8 hours sounds miserable to some people, but to me, it's I can bring my a book or something and it's fine. But or do work. I probably should do work. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to go back. I'm excited. And I'm working on a couple of new things to sell to help fund this trip. So hopefully I'll be able to debut those sooner rather than later. William's like, "Are you gonna ever finish that?" And it's like, "Well, we'll see." Sometimes things in my mind, I guess maybe in my mind, things get done a lot quicker than they actually do. Um, but there's that. All right. Um, Bonnie says, "My favorite is hanging out at the piano bar, singing alongside." Oh, that's nice. Um, Shakita says, "Hello, Andrew. Howdy. How's it going?" Um, so yeah. Um, let's finish up those pendants that we started. Well, actually, so I should warn you, things did not go according to plan. So I may or may not have gotten distracted and I left them in the oven too long and they got a little bit different looking. So I added more layers. So they're a little bit, if I don't know. It was fun to experiment and to hang out and make stuff, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm also super hard on myself. And William has reminded me of this frequently. Um so sometimes I'm super hard on myself. I'm like, that looks terrible. And then I'll put it away for a little while, sometimes a long while, and then I break it out, and I'm like, oh, that's not so bad. Or I'm like, oh, this is super cool. Who made that? Um, and then I'm like, oh, I think that's me. I think I'm the one who made that. So I don't know if this is a case of me being too hard on myself or if they actually look like doo doo. So we'll see. I'm going to flip the camera around. So you're going to see the ceiling for a second or two, and then we'll get going. All right. Hopefully, you all have been having a good start to your week, and that you've been doing something fun. After we got off the camera, we called Max and wished him a happy birthday. Um, so that was nice. All right. So here are the pendants that we started yesterday. And I don't need the tile anymore. So I'm going to get this out of the way. And I'm going to drop this down. Maybe I'll brush this off real quick. I can't do it too much because I got beads hanging out for a project that I'm working on. So normally I would just pick this up and slap it a couple of times and get all them little crusties off. But then the beads would go everywhere, and we don't want that. All right. So here they are in all their puffy glory. So I left them in too long, and I probably should have known to stop while the getting was good, because I was pretty happy with where they were. But I kind of had this idea that I would add the liquid polymer and it would create almost a funky kind of ceramic look. And I don't know if I achieved that. I don't think so. I think if anything, I think what ended up happening was, for one, the glitter stuff was not completely dry. It was dry on top, but not necessarily underneath. And sometimes when you heat liquids, they can expand or create air. And so some of the things that happened were that wherever there was a piece of glitter, it made a little air bubble. And you can see it on this one. It's got a lot of texture. And that's partly because of that, the air bubbles. So, it's fine. I like texture, so I'm not opposed to it. But if you were like, I want this to be smooth, then this is maybe skip that liquid polymer technique that I showed at the end for another project. So this one, so you may have noticed that the colors are slightly different as well. And I added some more layers to make it even thicker. So they look kind of look like cookies. Like, them fancy cookies with that edible glitter paint that is unfortunate in my mind, unless you like it, and then that's fine for you. But I generally don't eat anything if it has glitter on it. Anyway, so here they are, and I'm gonna work with some of these. All right. What do you think I should work with? Do you think I should work with the wolf, A, the raven or nondescript bird, B, the cat, C, the crescent moon, what is that? A, B, C, D, D, this is D, or the little shadow star pendant, which is E. So you get to pick. You have the power A, B, C, D, or E. And I will work with that. I would do everything, but unfortunately, I have to go at 6:25 so I can make my 6:30 meeting. So A, B, C, D, or E. Marianne says E. Bonnie says E. Yeah, I like that one. That turned out pretty good. I do have to go through and pick out some of the hairs. I got a little bit wild. Sometimes having this felt is nice as a background because you can see stuff. It adds a neutral gray and makes the colors kind of pop. However, sometimes it gets, fuzzy. And so I'll have to pick out some of the hairs that are kind of floating around in there. Suzanne says E. So it looks like we're going to do E, y'all. I don't see any votes to the contrary. So let's do E. Okay. So I have a couple of kits that are in the online store now. You can go to our website. That's allegorygallery.com. And you can see all of our kits there. We have over 100 kits, I believe. I know we have done over 100 inspiration kits. So I don't know how many are currently up, but there's a lot of them. And maybe we'll do a recap day of like, oh, these are the kits, some of the kits. Because sometimes people, you if you see it the first time, you're like, oh, that's cool. I like that. And then, or you say, oh, that's cool, but I'm not really into it right now. And then, something happens, and then you're like, oh, that's just what I needed. So you never know. I'm not opposed to showing things multiple times. I used to try to only show things like once at one time only. And then I was, then people would say, where was that hiding? And then you realize only like 1% of the people who actually follow us see our videos at the same time all at once. So, anyways, there's lots and lots of kits. We recently debuted a kit, um, which I showed y'all how to add fringe to the bird. So I have this left over, and instead of just letting this hang out, I'm going to use it, I think. So the kit, I actually have two kits that I'm going to cannibalize. Had these beautiful check glass kind of um, check glass beads. I may have to raise that up in a couple of seconds, but I think these are so cool. These are like a fire polish, large check glass, and I have to raise that up again because it's not focusing. Um, and I just love them. They're shiny on one side, and they've got a little hint of color on the other side, and they remind me of like galaxies or something. So I've got a couple of those, so I'm going to incorporate those. When I originally was doing the colors were a little bit more having that more of a russet purple, where there's a little bit more kind of the red was a little bit of an orangey red that I used. And this one is the beads have that more of a pinkish color. So they're not a perfect match, but I think that's fun. Um, so I've got these check glass, vintage check glass, and I like asymmetrical designs. So I'm going to kind of lay these out. I also have in my kit, I have these fun kind of drucks. They're a matte finish, and they've got kind of a gold luster to them, and they're a pale kind of purpley lavender, but that contrast gives them a little bit of a kind of a uh, kind of it's a little bit on the warmer side for such a cool color palette. So I'm going to incorporate these, I think. And then I also found these freshwater pearls. And I think these are a little bit different. Like they don't they're not in this color family at all, really. But I think that this is nice because it picks up some of the gold in the pendant that we added. So if you're interested, we also have some freshwater pearls on our website. That's allegorygallery.com. And if you go to the search function, I should let you all know, and I'm sure all of you know, that sometimes people go to our website and they're like, oh, y'all don't have as much stuff as I thought. And what I think is happening, and what I'm pretty sure is happening, is that they're going to the homepage and they think that's it. But there's actually several categories, and it's almost like falling down the rabbit hole. And even I do this sometimes on our own website. I start looking through stuff, and there's pages and pages and pages, and probably at this point, thousands of products listed. Um, and it's growing, and I know it's growing because the fulfillment. Barb has her station directly, kind of catty corner from me, where I'm sitting right now, and it's like on all the tables now. So so yeah, I know there's more things. So if you're interested in searching out our freshwater pearls, we have freshwater pearls. Go to the search bar and just type in freshwater pearls or pearls, and all kinds of things will pop up. We just had a sale, so I don't know how well we're restocked. We had a pretty significant sale last week during for the Great Beat Extravaganza, and so there was a lot there's a lot of stuff that has to get processed still yet. So I don't know if we've restocked that, but I know we have a bunch at the store because I saw that great big bag of them, and William's like, wow, we have to price them, and I was like, okay, let's do it. um all right. So I think I'm going to incorporate some of these freshwater pearls. I love them because they've got such a nice luster to them, and they're not straight gold, straight up gold. They've got kind of a peacock effect to them. So there's subtle shades of green. There's very pale shades of kind of a There's a kind of a burnished copper. I don't know if you can see that. So, but very lovely gold. It's kind of this richness. I love pearls because they have that luster and that luminosity to them. So I'm going to incorporate a couple of those. And I haven't decided yet on what clasp I'm going to use or not. Probably something relatively simple. Um, but probably an AG fine pewter one since that we sell those. Um, you never know though. Sometimes I show stuff we don't sell. I don't know why, but I do. How about this twisty one? It's a little bit bright for the gold color, but I think it gives it a little bit of a pop. And the nice thing is that if I wanted to, and whoops, my chair went really high, and I was trying to go really low. The other nice thing is that if I wanted to, I could take my gold paint and come in here and take a fine brush, which of course I did not grab again. This is kind of fine, fine-ish. And if I want it to pop a little bit more, I can come in and just hit that real quick and make it a little bit brighter so that it coordinates with my clasp a little bit more. Now, somebody asked me if offline if we had to seal these pendants. Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. And the thing is that acrylic paint is a plastic and is super durable, but it's not infallible. So if I have stuff in a recessed area that I've hit with the paint, then I don't really bother with sealing it up too much because, um, it's not going to really get damaged. Now, if it was on a highlight and I was doing highlights, then I probably would seal it. And the reason why I would seal it is because it would rub off. And so if I could put a layer in between that and the friction, then all the better, right? It doesn't have to be anything like I don't have to go too wild with it. But So there's a lot of different products, and depending on what you use, will also determine how you finish it. So if you do something with a polymer, like we did, adding liquid polymer, you're going to want to skip anything like crystal krylon. And the thing is that crystal krylon has a chemical in it, or most spray paints, to my knowledge, have a chemical in it that will eat away at the polymer. The same thing with nail polish. You would not put nail polish, like a clear nail polish, over it because eventually, when you go to touch your polymer, it would be sticky. And I know this to be true and not just theoretically because I have done it. Before I knew better, I used to seal my pendants with all kinds of stuff, and then I'd be like, "How come it's sticky?" And that's what happens. And it may not happen right away, but eventually, sometimes that happens. It eventually will eat away and cause it to get sticky. So if you do, there's a couple different products that you can use. One of my favorites, especially on metallics, Christy Friesen, she has a line called Swelligant, and she has a product called Matte Sealer. And it's lovely because it retains the metallicness of it. Sometimes if you put a sealer on top, like a gel medium or something on top, sometimes it can kill the metallic or the shimmer and shine. And Christie's doesn't do that. So you have to follow the directions and make sure you do it the way that it spells out in light coats. Sometimes she missed things. It's a not a thick solution, so you can do that. Um, and I love it. That's one of my go-tos. And it just also depends on the finish you want. Sometimes you want something to be shiny, like super shiny. And there's all different kinds of things. You can do UV resin, you can do all kinds of stuff. Now, also, like I said earlier, it just depends on what you do. So if you didn't do the liquid polymer step and you just had the paint, you could just leave it like that. And if you've got it heat set, it will be super sturdy. But if you wanted to, they come out with a glaze and you can glaze it on top. So lots of options on how to finish those. Bonnie says, like how you made those stars pop. Looks great. Thanks. So I wanted this to go a little bit more with this because, oh, this one doesn't have, I see why this one was put in the reject pile. I was like, why is this one in the reject pile? And it doesn't have a bail. So let me, maybe I did that. I brought all this, the color out to match that clasp, and then that clasp is not even good. What are you all working on? Do you have any projects lined up for this week? Are you getting ready for any shows? Are you doing anything fun and festive? Let us know. Let's see. It got quiet. Let me think about it for a while. In theory, I could go directly over to the shelves and grab something, but I'm not sure. We'll see. I'll think about it. In the meantime, I'm going to work on stringing these up. This is going to be a pretty simple, um, pretty simple. I might incorporate some of these. We'll see. What do you all think? I don't know. It might be a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. That's somebody said that they hated it when I said we'll see. And my dad, he used to get crazy. I would drive him crazy because I would say stuff like maybe, and I wasn't trying to be like defiant or disrespectful or anything. I just kind of think that there's a lot of different options, and sometimes you have to try things and see how they kind of work. And sometimes, sometimes things work out and sometimes they don't. So I hate to commit to something and then not be able to do it. It messes with me. So, um, yeah, so I try not to do that. Um, but with that being said, sometimes it happens and you don't really, you know. All right, so I'm just laying things out roughly. And this is generally how I start a lot of my projects. Actually, a lot of the ways that I start my projects is that I will have, I'll have like a muffin tin or these little containers like this. And I will lay things that are, I'll start collecting things to see what goes with what. And then once I get stuff kind of semi-organized in a way that makes sense to me, then I will get in there and string things up. But generally speaking, I always lay things out like this, and I'll check to see if I like it still. Some people are very mathematical when it comes to this. And my earlier designs, when I used to design for books and magazines, I for real was much more symmetrical in my designs. For one, they sold better, which I don't know why, but they just sold better. And number two, they made pattern writing much easier. Instead, because then you would write like follow sequence, string one this, one this, one this. And then you'd get to the middle section and be like string the focal on, and then repeat step 5, but in reverse. And so it made that much easier. Now the tricksy thing is that this looks to your naked eye like this is going to be like a super long necklace. And what I know is that original strand was not that long. It was maybe like 8 or 9 inches. So what I'm going to have to do is put some beads. I'm going to put some beads in between, and I'm going to put other things. And the class was going to take up, depending on which clasp I finally decide on, it's going to take up maybe, um, you know, uh, an inch or so. So just depends. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I think I'm going to save this one, put that off to the side. I'm going to do 3, and then I'm going to take this one out. It's kind of like a game, it's like you're arranging things. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to use these faceted, bigger pearls in my design instead of the smaller pearls. And then I'm going to put this like that. I think that looks cool. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to put this back up 5. And then I'll put a bigger pearl in between. I like to work on odds, and sometimes it doesn't make sense because then they're even. Like it becomes an even number, but this is actually an odd number. But the reason why I did that is because you get a little bit more, there's a little bit of a variation there. So this has 4. So I know I'm going to need to bring up something in between here. So I'm going to line that up. All right. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So maybe I'll do this one in the middle again. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So that's kind of a weird number. So let's do every, maybe we'll string 5 there. And of course, once I string this up, that'll also change things up. Well, actually, let me do 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll string another one of these, and I'll do that again. So that's like the 5th bead in the row. So yeah. And then I ran out on this side, so I will pull that. And this is generally, if you have a beading board, sometimes people, they do a beading board, which is super helpful, but I kind of just free will it. So that's awesome. So let's see. All right. Bonnie says I got a flu shot today and I'm tired. Yeah, I was supposed to get my my booster, the newest booster, but I kind of wanted to wait until I finished one of my projects because if I get tired now, because usually I'm down for like 3 days whenever that happens, so I don't want to get into kind of a weird, where I can't do it. Kristen says, "Ooh, beautiful design. Thank you." Benny says, "I've been trying to make feathers out of seed beads, just freestyle, maybe to wear for Thanksgiving." Yeah, sure. Feathers are great. I mean, there's a. I like feathers, but I don't know. Um, I think that could, however, it depends how you style that. And I say that with love but sometimes it's like almost like you're wearing a costume, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But like when I was a kid, they made us dress up like Native Americans and they made us wear feathers and stuff. And there are pictures that are super sketch floating around of me dressed up like that, and I'm like, hopefully nobody ever sees these. And I mean, it's cute when you're a little, maybe, but nowadays, like, unless you are Native American, then it gets a little bit uh, questionable sometimes. All right. I mean, it's fine. Feathers are on birds, and birds are everywhere, so it's not like mutually exclusive or anything. But so I like this. I like this design. I think I need some tiny gold beads to really bring it together. So I have these brass spacer beads, and they look like that, and they are a warm brass. So I think that will be nice as a way to add a little bit of something something to it. So let's see. I've got some soft wax with me. I've got this kind of blue color, and it really doesn't matter on this design because you can't really see it. You won't be able to see it as much. But these are transparent, so it might do something cool where it makes that bead glow. So we'll see. I'm gonna test it. All right, so I'm gonna put that up there and look at that. I think that looks nice. You just get a hint of it. It's not anything like super duper strong. All right. So another thing that I'll need here is I'll need some kind of jump ring so that I can actually hang it from my piece. I've got a hole here, so I'm going to use that hole. I don't know. This might be too big. We'll see. Also, I don't know what metal this is. Super soft. Let me check on something and see if I can find that a textured ring. In theory, there's a great big bowl full of jump rings in different colors and finishes. I just have to find it. So this is kind of big, but we'll see. Sometimes I like a bigger jump ring, especially if I'm going to layer stuff. Um, and I don't know if I'm going to layer anything just yet, but I'm just going to open and close this jump ring like so. And I'll touch up the back of this pendant later. All right. I kind of like that. It's an oversized one, but I can embellish this also with maybe I'll put uh some beads on that since it's a bigger jump ring. And I can also, the nice thing about this is that if you have a big jump ring, especially a big jump ring that doesn't come apart, you can slot, if you have smaller beads, you can have it so that they can mix and match. So sometimes I'll have like these real simple necklaces that are all just like strung up seed beads that are beautifully strung up in a pattern but are kind of neutral so that they go with a lot of different designs. And then I'll have these oversized jump rings, and then I can slip this on and swap it out. So that's a consideration as well. And it also is nice because it gives it a little bit of movement. Sometimes if you have all these great big beads and then the pendant doesn't have any room to like move, it's cool, but sometimes you lose that movement moment. So I think that we're pretty much good to go. I have yet to decide on what I'm going to use for my my toggle just yet, but I still have time. All right. So this is just a quick project. I know you all have seen me string before, but I think it's fun. So I like to put beads in between my beads. It kind of has the look of knotting, but isn't knotted. And also, when you're working with an asymmetrical design like this, it has a nice way of unifying everything, which I think helps carry the eye around, especially with that little glint of metallic. So, and there's also something almost like a prayer bead feel to it. Um, so I like that as well. Now, one a tip that if you cut this and you cut it kind of with a dull pair of pliers, that makes it sometimes a little bit tricky to string the beads in because it will want to flare out. So I usually get super sharp cutters, and I'll go in there and I'll cut it at a slight angle, and it will turn into a needle. And then that way I can just start stringing, and I don't have to worry about if I can get it through the hole or not, because I'm going to set myself up for success and do that. So one of the other things I like to do, and I don't know if you all do this or not, you can let me know in the comments if you do this, is to string up a section and see if you like it. And then if you like it, keep going. But if not, then pump the brakes and reconfigure it. For me, I don't like to string all these beads because it does, stringing does take time. That's one of the things, and maybe is one of the qualities that I like about stringing is that it takes time. I mean, granted, it doesn't take the kind of time that bead weaving does. Um, like that takes a lot of time, but it's a repetitive motion of just putting beads on a string. And I think there's something very appealing to me about that. There's something kind of primal about going back to stringing beads and putting them on, something that can hang so that they can be showcased. And there's something very meditative about it. And it's a lovely thing. I know that sometimes like you can't like you can get inside your head and be like, oh, I can't do anything today. It's so frustrating. I'm so upset that this isn't working out or this and this. Um, and whenever I'm working, I try to be relaxed and calm and just you know be efficient with my time, but also not be in a rush. I used to work for this restaurant, and they would give evaluations. One of the evaluation that I got kind of, it was kind of a bad mark, but they said does not show or does not display hurry or something in his work or urgency. Um, and I thought about it and I was like, okay. So I looked up how many tickets I had, and I had as much or more than other people. And I looked at my sales and my sales were higher than other people. And so I went back to my reviewer and I says, I can see what you mean, where I am not somebody who has that kind of frantic energy, at least not always. Like I don't have that like sometimes we'll watch YouTube and William has these people on and they just make me so nervous. I mean, they're just bundles of energy, which is cool, I can appreciate it, but I'm not like that. I'm kind of low energy. At least the kind of output of that energy seems kind of low energy. And so I was like, I don't know about you, but when I start my day, I don't like to feel rushed. I don't like to feel anxious. And if I'm doing the same amount of work or better and making better sales, I don't think I should be penalized for having a relaxed, um, demeanor. And they were like, well, this is a restaurant and you have to hurry. And if you don't act like you're hurrying, then people are going to think that you're not working or you're not busy enough. And I kind of take issue with that because I don't think that you should. There's a lot of times the people that have that kind of buzzing energy, they would mess up and they would like spill things and drop things. And it looked like from the outside, it looked like they were like super productive, but I actually knew that there was a lot of waste and there's a lot of things just because they were trying to impress somebody. And so we didn't necessarily get along. Uh, but I think they came to their realization that sometimes it's nice to have a respite in your day where you can just relax and get into the zen of things. And there can be like a joy in having your coffee, or there can be a joy in having, simple things in your life, and taking time for those things. So I could be like, but I think it's nice to be able to do that. Um, So I've got this, what I've strung up, and I kind of look at it, make sure that I didn't miss anything. I love that little bit of cranberry, that hint of cranberry in that. Um, it just makes that pop a little bit. And the length looks right. And then I'm gonna just test it and see if this will fit over those or not. And when I say fit over, I mean fit. I get telemarketers and they call me and they're like, "Did you vote yet?" And I was like, I vote every year. And also, I don't live in Florida. So could you kind of update your records to show that?" And then they get kind of huffy sometimes. I'm like, dude, I feel you. I feel you. I am on the same team, but I still can't vote there. So could you take me off the records? Haven't lived in Florida in like over 20 years. Anyways, and the reason why that popped up into my mind is somebody just tried to call me, and I know exactly who it is. It's one of the people who are campaigning, which is good for them. I mean, it's kind of a thankless job in a lot of ways to do that kind of work. But anyways, All right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to string up a section of maybe 5 beads or so. Not anything too big. But this is going to be kind of like the landing zone for my pendant so that it can kind of hang out in that kind of area. And could I get a time check? Does anybody know what time it is? It doesn't show up on mine when I'm going live. I don't know. Maybe I won't do that. Maybe what I'll do instead is I kind of like the idea of having this being even more separated, believe it or not. So I'm going to get a bead that is slightly larger, and it would be nice if I had a nice big star bead. That would be nice. I'm going to get a bead that's slightly larger so that the hole can accommodate both strands and also visually anchor it. I don't know if I have a rabbit, but that could be cute. The rabbit in the moon jumping through the sky. That'd be cute. Now I've got this, and I think this will work. This is also an AG fine pewter, 611. So I've got about 10 minutes left. All right, so I'm going to, about 14, 15 minutes, string this up. So I'm going to string this bigger bead on, and then I'm going to string up maybe, I'm going to pinch them out here, and string up maybe 12 or so of these. 13. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to check to see what it looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So I'm going to bend this over to see how this looks. I think it may be too small for what I want to do. Oh, that looks all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I have at least enough beading wire for the other side, because once this gets locked in place, it gets pretty locked in place. It doesn't like to move as easily. Normally, I don't really mind, but let me raise this up so you can see. All right, so I've kind of over measured the other half, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to pass this over these beads here, and then back up through this big bead here. And I'm going to kind of see how that, see how, if I like that or not. And I'm going to actually do that again because I went up on the other side of that and it's going to want to flip. So that's an idea for if you have if you have a pendant that may or may not flip, just decorate both sides of it, and then you won't have that issue. All right, y'all. I have that beaded loop. What do y'all think? And if that little blue peeks out, I'm not mad at that actually. I think that blue is really beautiful. That kind of turquoisey blue. So I think that looks nice. What do y'all think? Kristen says that pendant is so pretty. Love the beaded loop idea. So I think I like that. The nice thing also about having this beaded loop is then if I find something nice that I want to dangle, I can do that. I can incorporate that as well. So I might get a coin or some stars or dig through my stash and kind of add these extra elements. You know, I can have them dingle dangle. Maybe not that one, but I do like that crescent moon. All right, so I have a meeting coming up, and William just got here. Say hi, William.
Hello, everybody.
He did a deep hello, everybody.
Hello,
It's me, William.
William in the house.
Big man on campus is here for your Tuesday titillation. That sounds wrong, y'all.
How's it going?
Good, I guess. What do you think?
It looked nice from what I could see.
Was I off camera? Or was I off frame?
No, I don't think so. I couldn't
good.
watch it all. I was driving. But...
Oh, well, don't be watching me. Well, I know you're obsessed. You're obsessed with me.
I sit you in the passenger seat with the sound on.
Well, that's good. I do that too sometimes. All right, so that's the plan, y'all.
What are these pretty beads?
I don't know. What are they?
I just found it on the floor.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. Hey, maybe dig around on the floor some more, William.
Oh, look at that.
Hey, don't mess with that. That's for me.
So that's mine.
Here, show it.
Show it.
So this is what William randomly found on the floor. It looks like those are kyanite.
Beautiful
like gem grade kyanite.
With this little, where'd it go? This little
random oak leaf.
Look at that.
I know this oak leaf. Anyways, all right. So you're just gonna have to wait and see what happens because we have to go to that meeting. So I have to finish this up off camera. They can look for the pictures tonight. I'll post the pictures when I'm done. It will also allow me to dig through my stash and find a clasp that I want to use.
Almost like you planned it.
What? Like timing wise? LOL.
LOL. You went way off script today.
I'm going off script, y'all. No. Yeah. All right. So tune back in tonight and check out. William's getting wild. He's gonna make that root baby dance. Cynthia's working on some stuff that's super cute. We were talking last night when we wished Max a happy birthday, and she showed me her project, and it is dang cute.
Yeah, it is, everybody.
I want 10.
I know.
And I will push somebody out of the way to get it too.
You think we get first dibs, but no.
No, not always. But that's the way, the cobbler and stuff. But she's usually pretty generous. So, anyways. Anyhow, I've got to run.
Gotta get ready.
I know. We have to move the chairs so that we're not like sitting on each other's lap awkwardly during somebody's Zoom. And then they'd be like, what the freak show's doing? All petting each other. So I see a couple people have tuned in and we're leaving.
Being loving means you're a freak show.
If I was in a professional meeting and people were like touching each other and like sitting in each other's laps, I would turn their camera off. I don't know if I can do that or not, but I would try. I would like Google it quietly on my phone so I didn't have to see them like I don't know what they're doing, rising about.
Disable the camera.
I know. I don't know if you can do that or not. Norma says, "Hi, William. I just got here too. Watching most things on replay this week while visiting friends in Virginia. Well, I hope you have fun in Virginia." Mary Ann says, "I would like to find those on my floor. Aren't they nice?" Suzanne is waving. Bonnie says, "I'm going to show you my feather earrings and you won't think they are Native American in style." Well, if if not, then that's cool. But if you don't want to end up going to the Thanksgiving dinner and then being dressed like Pocahontas, they're gonna be like, "What in the heck is she doing? Is she trying to be a white lady shaman?" You know the ones on Instagram that I'm talking about?
They're out there.
And they're like, and you have to feel the energy of the feel, and then four, and then here, and then see the spiritual door of the spirit and the essence of the essence. And I was like, and they trying to bewitch me? Like, what's happening? All right. So Amanda says, "Can't wait to see Cynthia's creations." Me too. They are dang cute. All right. So we're gonna peace out. Thank you so much for watching today. We will be back tomorrow. William will be back. Maybe if I bust a move tonight and this meeting doesn't go until the end of eternity, then I can maybe finish up some stuff that I'm working on, like this necklace, Nicholas's, and then you can check that out. All right. Thank you so much. We will see you tomorrow, live at 5. See ya.
Peace.
Peace. He's trying to do his own thing. He's going to be like, "Oh, let's make a t-shirt that says peace on it now." I'm just like,
Who doesn't like peace?
Okay, bye. Okay, bye, William.